Hey guys, today we have Prithvi and he is having total 9 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Prithvi, how are you?
Yes, I'm good.
Shall we start?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So Prithvi, can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
Yes, my name is Prithviraj Dhar, and I
Mm-hmm.
have total IT experience of around 9 years. And my relevant experience in Java, Spring Boot, and microservices is around 7.5. Recently, I was working in an insurance-based project where we were given some user stories because we were working in a sprint environment. And according to the user stories we get, we used to create the RESTful API endpoints using Spring Boot technologies.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I got the experience to work in microservice architecture as well. And
Okay.
latest, we were using Java 8 in our project.
Okay. So as you said, you also, you are also working on microservice architecture. So did you are part of converting monolithic to microservice?
Yes,
So what
yes.
challenges you guys faced? May I know?
See, whenever we are converting a legacy system into
Mm-hmm.
microservice architecture,
Mm-hmm.
since we have to segregate all the small services, so that is one of the challenge. And also since different microservice are platform independent also,
Mm-hmm.
and in many of the microservice architecture we are using different servers as well.
Okay.
Okay, so that is one of the challenges because we have to configure it separately. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so that one all the microservices are connected to each other. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that is also one of the challenge we have faced. So
Mm-hmm.
that because dealing with many microservices is a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So how your microservices are communicating with each other?
Uh, there are two ways of communicating in a
Mm-hmm.
microservice environment. One is synchronous communication, another one is
Mm-hmm.
asynchronous communication. For
Mm-hmm.
synchronous communication, we have used HTTP REST template. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and for asynchronous, we have used web client or we have taken the help of message broker.
Okay. So let's say if you were to scale an application for high traffic, what Spring Boot features would you use?
So for high traffic,
Mm-hmm.
like if I am working in a microservice environment, for that we can take the help of API gateway,
Okay.
and also if any of the service is getting failed or there is much load on
Mm-hmm.
a particular service, then we can take the help of circuit breaker pattern as well,
Mm-hmm.
where it will basically tell us that uh, the load is basically on a specific API
Mm-hmm.
endpoint. For that, we can create uh, multiple instances of a specific
Mm-hmm.
endpoint, so that if
Okay.
one of the instance is getting loaded, then it can be split it into another endpoints.
Let's say if you were tasked with ensuring high availability for a Spring Boot e-commerce application during peak times, okay,
Hmm.
what architectural decision would you make?
Like during peak time, the it is getting loaded with many calls. We were asking like that.
Yes, yes, yes. Like
Uh,
we can deploy multiple instances behind a load
yes,
balancer.
Yes, that is what I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we are talking about circuit breaker pattern, the load
Mm-hmm.
balancing comes into picture. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so suppose for one endpoint, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we can create multiple instances. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
suppose for one endpoint we are creating 100 instances. Suppose, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and out of 100 instances, suppose 50 are already loaded with high traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
we can
Use load balancer
like
multiple.
yeah, for that load balancer we can use.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like suppose for one instance the traffic is 1 lakh. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and another instance suppose the traffic is 1,000. So
Mm-hmm.
that, so it is our responsibility to split those traffic
Okay,
into
okay.
all the instances.
And what other multiple instances? We can use database clustering, right? We can use cache, frequently accessed data.
Yeah, cache also we can use. Yes.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, so Prithvi, I would like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had
Yeah.
launched complete interview preparation material, structured step by step by myself, expert and MNC's interviewers. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There is a 99% chance that interviewers will ask questions from this material. So basically, it contains a lot of material categorized by experience level. Means each experience level has different material with all possible interview question and answer for Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Git, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JP, Kafka, Microservices, Java coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this in the below description. And if someone needs this material plus two real enterprise client projects for reference, plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the big MNCs like Infosys, Deloitte, TCS, then they should check interview preparation kit. I'll provide the link for this as well in the description below. So now moving to our interview. So Prithvi,
Sorry to interrupt. I
uh,
have taken that material
mm,
and it is helping me a lot, to be
yeah,
honest.
thank you so
Thank
much. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, so moving to our interview. Prithvi, imagine you are developing a Spring Boot application that handles sensitive customer data. So, how would you securely manage and store this data?
you. Okay. So for that, since we are involved in API gateway, okay, before
Mm-hmm,
API gateway, we can add another layer of
mm-hmm,
security.
mm-hmm,
So for that, we can take the help of OAuth also,
mm-hmm,
okay, which is basically a third party thing, and where which is basically a token based thing, okay, which will first authorize and which will first authorize an authentication, which will be
mm-hmm,
done by OAuth 2. So that's how we can secure our API endpoints.
mm-hmm. Correct, correct. Okay, so let's say your Spring Boot application suddenly needs to support twice that user load it was originally designed for. Okay, what immediate steps would you take to handle the increased load?
So for that, we need to increase our memory because
Mm-hmm,
whenever we are creating an API application, we have a
mm-hmm,
certain memory, and um, if somehow we need to increase the balance for that, we can
mm-hmm.
increase the memory. Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. Mm, and also we can tune thread pools. We can do
Yes, yes,
some
we can.
JVM settings. We can use async processing also optimize queries. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does Spring Boot simplify dependency injection?
Dependency injection, you can say like at the rate AutoWed we can do,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and using at the rate AutoWed, what it does that we don't need to create object separately.
Mm-hmm.
We can
Mm-hmm.
use at the rate AutoWed annotation, and
Mm-hmm.
with the at the rate AutoWed annotation we can just provide the class name and
Mm-hmm.
a reference name to that, and
Mm-hmm.
using that reference name we can call any method of that particular class. So
Okay.
that's how we can do the dependency injection.
Mm-hmm. Got it. What testing strategies do you recommend for Spring Boot applications?
Uh, JUnit test cases, to write JUnit test cases,
Okay.
and also to use Mockito framework also. And
Okay.
while writing JUnit test cases, we should mention as much as scenario which can
Mm-hmm.
be there, so
Mm-hmm.
that it doesn't fail
Mm-hmm.
later in the test environment.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And you said about JUnit and mocking and all. So
Mhm.
this is related to our backend system, right? Our code, whatever we have already written. So there is some other testing as well, like end-to-end testing, regression testing. So are you aware?
Yes, I'm aware of that, but I haven't
Mhm.
been a part of that.
Okay, okay, yeah, it's fine. So tell me, how do you integrate a non-relational database like MongoDB with the Spring Boot application?
So for that, what we do is that we provide all the properties of the database in application.properties file, and where we provide all the credentials and all. And also, like, we take the help of JP repository, because JP repository comes with many inbuilt methods, so that we can fetch the value or we can save anything. And if we need to write a complex query, so for that we can take the help of add that query annotation, and below that we can provide that complex query, and below that we can provide the method.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Mm, have you worked with caching?
Not much.
Not much. Do you know about Spring Boot default caching?
Yes, for the Spring Boot default caching, we can take the help of @enable caching annotation. So that is basically a default thing of Spring Boot. So and also @cacheable annotation is also there. So that's how we can do, like,
Correct.
using @cacheable, uh, cacheable, and after that we can provide anything using the annotation part. I mean, a name to that. So that's how we can handle caching.
Okay. Got it.
And if we want to update any cache, then we can take the help of @cache put.
Cache input. Correct. So, can you describe a scenario where we can implement asynchronous messaging in a Spring Boot application?
Yes, suppose
Mm-hmm.
uh, suppose there I mean, suppose there are many API endpoints are there, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if we want to communicate with another microservice, and many
Mm-hmm.
other and that particular third-party microservice is being called by many services.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
at that time we go for asynchronous communication, because
Mm-hmm.
it will not, because what in asynchronous communication we do is that we provide a topic name to that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we just send the topic name, and whenever that API endpoint is free, then
Mm-hmm.
it will just listen to that topic and it will do its job. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but in synchronous communication you have to wait for that API endpoint. So that is basically a time challenging thing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but in asynchronous communication you don't need to worry about all those things. You just
Mm-hmm.
send the topic, and whenever it is free it will just listen and it will just provide the response to you.
Okay. Got it. Let's say you notice that your Spring Boot application is significantly slower in production than in a development environment. So how would you go about fixing the problem?
Can you just repeat the question?
Let's say you notice that a Spring Boot application you are working
Yeah.
on is significantly slower in production than in the dev environment. How would you go about fixing the problem? Like, how would you fix this problem? It's
Okay.
slower in
So when
production environment, but working fine in dev environment.
Okay, so whenever we are working in dev environment, uh,
Mm-hmm.
there are less challenges. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
first of all, whenever we are deploying the code into the production environment,
Mm-hmm.
there are many things which we need to focus on. Okay, so that's how, if we suppose if one API endpoint is getting delayed, so we can debug that particular API endpoint, okay,
Mm-hmm.
step by step. Like,
Okay.
for dev environment, suppose one service is taking
Mm-hmm.
5 seconds or 10 seconds of time. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
for the same thing, if it is taking more in the production, so we need to go step by step. Suppose there are 5 methods. Okay, one of the 4 methods are working fine and one of the method is taking time. So that's how, by debugging step by step, we can fetch, like, whichever, where the problem is mainly. Suppose the problem is mainly in one method, so we
Mm-hmm.
need to again debug that method and we need to analyze that why it is taking much time in the production.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it can be due to database thing also. Okay, it can be due to any configuration type of thing. So we need to analyze by debugging.
Okay, okay. Got it. So can you share your strategy for managing branches in Git? Like what
In
you guys do in your project?
yes, suppose there is a main branch, okay,
Mhm,
okay, which we don't generally commit on. Okay,
mhm,
suppose there is a main branch and we have
mhm,
created a local branch. Okay,
mhm,
in that local branch of my name, I am just extracting all the values from the main branch. Okay, after
mhm,
taking that, we create a separate branch where all the
mhm.
developers are basically compiling all the coding. Okay,
Okay.
so once it is done, okay, then it goes for peer review. Okay, if
Okay.
that peer review is done properly,
Mhm,
okay, then there is a pipeline is already created, it will
mhm.
automatically go to the main branch. So that's how we have basically segregated in our
Okay,
project.
okay. Got it. So how would you handle a situation where a merge conflict occurs in a critical piece of code just before deployment?
Okay, so the best practice of any
Mhm,
developer is to take the recent code, okay,
mhm,
every day before doing
mhm,
coding. So that's how you can basically avoid having conflicts. But
mhm.
if you are writing a code in
So
a
how do
same.
you resolve conflicts?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Suppose if I'm
Mhm,
writing a one piece of code in the same
mhm,
paragraph which
mhm,
someone has already overridden, or
mhm,
which someone has already provided into the main branch. So
mhm,
if some conflict is there, I need to basically talk to that particular developer, like
mhm,
what I mean, in which portion he has created that. So what I will do is that I will copy my code separately. Okay, take the latest pull again.
mhm,
Okay, and after taking the latest pull, I will copy my code, piece of code, and I will separate it from the main code. And after that,
mhm.
I will again, I mean, compile it again.
Okay, okay. And what is rebasing?
Wait.
Okay. So basically Git rebase moves or reapplies commits from one branch onto another,
Okay,
creating like a linear history.
okay.
Okay. Okay. So can you explain a complex build process you have configured using Maven? So
Mm,
have you worked with multimodal project?
Not exactly,
Okay.
because whenever we are building anything, we take the
Mm-hmm.
help of Maven or Gradle.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly we have used Maven.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So do you know
like,
about parallel builds in Maven?
no.
Okay. It's fine. So, and do you know about Maven dependency management?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Please go ahead.
yeah, in pom.xml. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if we want to provide any kind of
Sorry.
dependencies,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so suppose if I am going for any Spring dependencies, so all the dependencies are present in Spring Starter. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
from there we can fetch all the dependencies, and we can provide all those dependencies in the pom.xml. Okay, and after
Okay.
doing the Maven build, all the dependencies will be automatically downloaded, and it will be automatically, all the jars will be automatically there.
Okay. Okay. So what happens? Do you know about hash codes, right?
Hash code.
Hash code, yes.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So what happens when two different Java objects have the same hash code? How do you handle such a scenario?
yes. So what happens is that,
Mm-hmm.
suppose, I mean, if I'm talking about a hash map, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so in hash map, we know that the initial um, storage is basically 8. Okay, so
Okay.
suppose if hash code is same
Mm-hmm.
for for both the objects. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so first we can override the hash code and equals method. Okay, for that we can check if the hash code is same or not. Okay, if the hash code is same and the values are, I mean, the keys are different. Okay, so at that time it will be like a link tree. Okay, so suppose one key value pair is stored in node number 3. Okay, and another key value pair is also there which is having a same hash code, but the
Mm-hmm.
keys are different. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then it will also be stored in node 3. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it will be linked with the previous key value pair. Okay, but there is
Okay.
another scenario where the key is same. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
we are talking about the duplicate key. Okay, then it will just overwrite it because in hash map duplicate there are no possibilities of duplicate keys. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how we can avoid the collision.
Correct. Okay, so moving ahead, can you describe how a hash map works in Java? What happened? Okay, so you already answered this.
Yeah.
Moving ahead, can you tell me the difference between comparable and comparator interfaces?
Yeah, comparable. Both are basically to if I want to compare
Mm-hmm.
uh, two objects, or if I want to sort any
Mm-hmm.
objects with, like if I want to compare anything, at that
Mm-hmm.
time we can use comparable and comparator. And
Okay.
comparable, both are basically interface. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
comparable is having a method compared to, which is basically a single sorting sequence. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and comparator, if we have compare method whenever we are dealing with multiple sorting sequences. So that is the main difference between comparable and comparator.
Okay, got it. How does the JVM handle memory leaks?
Right now I'm not able to do.
Okay, okay. So there are some tools like Visual VM, Eclipse, Mat, and Profilers. They help identify leaks by analyzing heap dumps. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So can you tell me the difference between a string builder, and string buffer?
Yeah, string we know that uh, like immutable. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we cannot change the value of a string. So that
Mm-hmm.
is one difference between string and string buffer and string builder. And string buffer and string builder are basically mutable. Okay,
Okay.
and if suppose whenever we are going for a mutable string classes, then we
Mm-hmm.
go for string buffer and string builder. And
Okay.
string buffer is basically thread safe and
Mm-hmm.
string builder is not. That is the main difference between the buffer and builder.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you tell me a scenario where string builder is preferred over a string buffer?
Like whenever we are working
Mm-hmm.
in a multi-threaded environment, then we go for string buffer. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
where there is no such means of using multi-threaded environment
Mm-hmm.
or single-threaded scenarios are there, then we go for string builder.
Okay. Got it. So, moving ahead, do you know about generational garbage collection in JVM?
Yes, like I know about the garbage collection, which
Mm-hmm.
is done automatically right now. The all the Java versions we have, it is
Mm-hmm.
done automatically by the JVM. So
Mm-hmm.
not much idea into how it is being doing internally.
Okay. Okay. So Java uses three major class loaders: Bootstrap, Extension, System. Are you aware? Bootstrap,
No.
Extension, System. Okay.
Okay.
It's fine. How can we make an object immutable? A class immutable.
So to create a class immutable, for that we can like write the class as I mean final. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and also inside the parameter, I mean inside the class we can write many parameters. Okay, so all those parameters we can write as private, I mean
Mm-hmm.
private final, and the class is set as final. And we can create constructors, I mean the
Mm-hmm.
parameterized constructors as well. and yeah, and only we can use getter method or setter methods. So
Mhm.
that's how we can create
Okay.
an immutable class.
Okay. So in Java, what's the principle composition over inheritance? What this mean?
uh, like in inheritance we basically go for like if we want to
Sorry.
uh, yeah
Mm-hmm.
like if you want to inherit a I mean
Mm-hmm.
if a child class is inheriting a parent class, then we basically goes for um, inheritance. Okay, so
Mm.
but in composition what happens is that it is basically a has a relationship. Means
Okay.
suppose if I'm having a class as employee,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and inside that employee class it can be like name, address, age, id, anything. In that
Mm-hmm.
address part, it the address can be a class. Okay,
Okay.
so what happens is that um, that the employee has a address, so it is a
Mm-hmm.
has a relationship. Okay, so
Okay.
that's how we can, without implementing the interface, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we can provide uh, class parameters inside
Mm-hmm.
a class, I mean, which is an employee class.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So Prithvi, now I'll give you a coding question. Will you be
Okay.
able to write through Stream API?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So the question is, yeah, first share your screen, open
I'm
any
sharing the screen.
editor, then I'll share.
Yeah, 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 sure.
Okay, so the question is, you are given a string, right? The string can contain number and alphabet, right? It can be, and the string will always start from a number, and it will always end with the alphabet. Okay, so let's say write 3A, 3B, 3A, 2B. Let's say the string is 3A, 2B. Okay, so your output should be 3 times A and then 3 times 2 times B.
Like like this. 3A, 2B,
If
like this.
yes, yes, like this.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is a question.
So tell me one thing, that given a
Mm-hmm.
string which can contain number and alphabet, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so here string is not starting with a number and ending with the alphabet, right?
No, no, yeah, take string 3A, I mean 3, number 3
Okay,
and 2B.
like
Okay,
this.
like this. And now your
And the
output
out
is 3 times A and then 2 times B.
like
BB,
this.
yes, yes.
Like to convert, I mean 3A. Okay.
Or Prithvi, you can write this code without Stream API as well. If you are finding this difficult to write through Stream API, you can write in a normal way as well. Write normal loops and all. Okay, so yes, do one
Not
thing.
able to, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine. You can just try after this interview. Just that I have changed the question. The question is, let's say you are given a string. It can contain an alphabet and character, right? There is no pattern like number will start from the first index, or there are no rules, right? Only the rule is you are given a string and it can contain a number and alphabets. So you have to return how many numbers are there and how many character alphabets are there. If one A B two, then numbers are two and alphabets are also two. So two and two. So did you got it? Get it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Or just first print only the frequency of numbers. How many numbers are there? Okay. So yes, I think I don't know whether this is the right way or not. But yes, we have one easy way to do this. We can you are I mean you have started in a correct way like s dot chars. But
Hmm.
after that we can use filter like s dot chars dot filter because we are filtering numbers
Yes,
from
yes.
the string, and in the filter method we can write like character colon colon is digit.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. C is caps. Yeah. So it will retrieve all the digits and then we can do dot count.
Okay, and if I want to go for the alphabet part, then uh, without using each digit, what
Mm-hmm.
should we do go for?
Means
Like here, it will only filtering out with the
mm-hmm.
uh,
Is
I
digit.
mean, yeah, with
Mm-hmm.
the digits only. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so so if I print this, okay,
Mm-hmm.
then it will uh, give me the count of uh,
Numbers.
numbers. And if
Mm.
I want to get the now count of alphabets, okay,
We
so
can
for that,
subtract. Yes, we can subtract like whole count of whole minus the numbers.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
so,
And if you don't want to use this character colon colon is digit, we can do like let's say inside the filter method, let's say
mhm.
we have a x arrow, x is greater than is equal to 0 and x is less
Yeah,
than is equal to 9.
this is basically a method reference
Method
that I
reference.
understand.
Mhm.
Mm, okay.
Okay. So yes,
Okay.
Prithvi, it was done from my end, and it was a very very nice interview.